listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Dallas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Dallas After Show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Bing is for doing. We're here doing another AFTERBUZZ recap show for Dallas. Season 1, kind of, episode 5, Truth and Consequences. I'm your host, AJ Gibson, along with Ryan Allen Carillo.
Hello.
The ladies are gone. They're apparently recovering from a long 4th of July. Yeah.
I know. They should at least call in or something.
I know, right? Where are they?
I know. Maybe they're watching.
Well, they will be watching, I'm sure. And we look forward to having them back next week. We hope you guys all had a great 4th. We did as well. We enjoyed the day off. Did you do anything exciting?
I had too much fun. I stayed home all day and then decided to go out late night, which was just a bad idea. By the time I went out, everyone was just a disaster.
Yeah, I think I was down in Huntington Beach before noon, which for me is kind of a feat. So I enjoyed the festivities and the fireworks and all of it.
Good.
But we missed the episode yesterday, so we're here today, catching up a day late.
Yep.
They did a marathon yesterday. Yeah, all 5 of the first episodes from Dallas this season, correct?
Yeah, it was a full show on TNT.
This episode was I loved this episode actually.
I have problems with the episode.
So
I do.
We'll get into that. We also want to let you guys know we have a little behind-the-scenes sneak peek coming up a little bit later. We have one of our very own, Catherine Tulich. She was on set at Dallas and did a little cool piece for us, and we'll share that with you guys later. But first, we're going to dig right in. This episode, again, a lot going on.
Yeah.
Rebecca's becoming a much larger character than I thought she was going to be.
Right, I think so too.
The episode starts off where the last one left off, with Rebecca pulling Christopher aside and talking about this email.
Right.
This email that's kind of, this entire season's been building up to this moment, kind of, I think.
Right.
And she lets him know that she didn't actually send the email. She knew nothing about it until just recently when she found out through John Ross and, well, she knew about the email.
She knew about the email because Tommy was the one who sent it, her quote-unquote brother.
Yes, but she didn't really understand how everything was being manipulated until recently, I guess.
Right.
And then when John Ross tried to blackmail her, she decided to be honest with Christopher and tell him about this email. Tommy, her brother, which we're not really sure is her brother yet,
right,
actually sent the email, and she's like, look, I love you, I love you, I love you. I didn't know, like, all I knew was that this guy, Christopher Ewing, had just, was supposed to get married. He was heartbroken and going to be on a train or something.
Right.
And so that's how she met him years prior. Fast forward now, she's in the middle of all this, and it doesn't seem like she really wants to be.
Right.
I'm not really sure she's too comfortable with this.
I don't think she's comfortable doing any of the shady stuff going on, but she's definitely wants to be a part of the family.
Yeah.
She's definitely in love with Christopher.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. I feel like she loves him. And you can tell she kind of puts her hand on his face and just begs him, just
right.
Stay with me, stay with me.
That was a hard scene too. I mean, she's like full on crying. I mean, that looked like a difficult scene to do.
She acted her face off in that scene.
She did.
Jesse Metcalf, a little work to do, but no, he's
cute.
Yes, he is. He's really cute, and also I don't think any of the Ewing men have ever been known for their acting chops.
Right.
Maybe JR. But they're all caricatures.
Right.
There's a very specific style to the show.
It's a little over the top.
Yeah, and I think he does it well. I think he holds his own. But he's good at being mad because he stormed off, went back into the barbecue, the last hurrah, which was still going on from a week ago.
Which was missing some of the decorations, I noticed.
Yeah, some of the decorations and some
of
the people.
Where'd the band go? Yeah.
Yeah, and where was, what's her name? Where was Lucy? Was that right? Lucy, she wasn't even there.
I don't know.
They only paid her for one episode, apparently. So he goes back out there and he grabs, is it Tommy? Tommy, and just pummels him.
Right.
Beats the crap out of the guy. And then people realize, like, everybody's like, oh God, what's going on right now? Bobby comes over, pulls them off of him, and he's telling them, basically,
what do you say? Get this trash off my art.
Well, yeah, off the ranch. And she's like, look, she's like, I told him everything, Tommy. I told him whatever. And Tommy, you can see like the wheels turning in his head as she's saying this. He quickly says, it's not Becca's fault. It was all me. She knew nothing about this.
Right.
He's trying to still have an in.
Right. He's already trying to spin the situation because he already knows he's busted, but like, you know, he just is trying to spin it so he can get his
lip
way
was
back
busted,
in there.
that's for sure.
Do you know one thing too, since we're talking about the opening, it's a little off point, is I figured out why I don't like live for the opening. If you watch the
There's no red Mercedes.
No, besides that, no Victoria Principal is they show the split screen of the other actors on the previous show. So like all the other one, it would show the two would be solid on the side, and the person in the middle would be like, you know, working it.
I
live for that part. Like, and then like now it's just like, you know, Jesse Metcalf out of the building.
It comes out, pops up.
JR, like it's just weird. Like I want them to like come out and like live and get crazy.
They did do that. I went back and watched a lot of the intros on YouTube, and each season it kind of changed based on what characters were dead or alive that season.
Right, because they would show like the two stills, and then there literally would be a beauty shot in the middle, which was like
the original glamour shot.
Right. So I think they need to bring that back.
Yeah, maybe they just got renewed for another season.
They did
already, which is great.
Which is fantastic.
15 episodes for next season. Yeah, woo! Congratulations, Dallas.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Maybe they'll tweak it.
Yeah.
Season 1, you never. I mean, nothing's set in stone.
Well, I think also too because they probably just want to make the opening shorter because it was kind of a long opening before, and stories are so complex and the characters are so rich and so much to tell in such a short
I'm just ready
for
a good pool scene. They haven't been in the swimming pool yet. They haven't had like brunch out on the table. Like they used to have breakfast out there every morning.
Right.
But they showed the pool. I always see. I'm like, oh, there it is. They showed it a lot in this episode, but nobody got in it.
No. Normally someone gets thrown in the pool a few times too. So that definitely has to happen.
Or like tea, like spiked tea by the pool all day long. What are these scenes?
Do you know what I also heard from one of the producers? I saw them on some news thing, and they said that they put together the entire season in 1 week. They said what they did is they wrote all the cliffhangers and went backwards from there, writing the rest of it. But they literally plotted out the whole thing with all the cliffhangers in 1 week, which is kind of crazy.
Well, they're known for their cliffhangers.
For sure.
They have to keep up. You know, they have to keep that current and keep that going, or the show becomes irrelevant, I think.
Yeah.
So this Rebecca character again. Rebecca, okay, so now Chris is upset. He beats the crap out of Tommy.
Beats him up.
And then he goes and grabs Rebecca's stuff and just starts throwing her shit in suitcases.
Right, which her closet was like this big.
Yeah.
I'm like, Southfork, come on.
Yeah, they don't really, some things don't add up on Southfork.
Yeah, it's like, there's no way, being as much money they have, that she has like 6 cocktail dresses and a carry-on luggage.
You have more cocktail dresses than that.
I have way more cocktail dresses.
So he kicks her out, and she's crying. She storms off. He where does he go from there? He goes, oh, his dad. He leaves. He storms off. Rides his little Ferrari away somewhere.
Right.
Comes back, and his dad then finds out that
Gets a delivery.
He's like, and he says to Anne, he's like, Bobby's like, it's probably just some paperwork about the
which
Del Sol.
It wasn't sealed either.
Yeah, which is so weird.
I always catch like the little things that drives me nuts.
Well, he opens it up and realizes that all the stuff that Rebecca's been doing, the stuff is now distracting him, but pulling him towards this whole storyline. He's not paying attention to what's going on. And the other big storyline is that now Southfork is no longer his.
Right.
JR just came in and
he now owns the deeds to the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. So Southfork is now JR's again.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's all so complicated. But to try to stick on the Rebecca thing for a little bit, she's devastated. She's upset. You know, a lot of things happen throughout the episode. Christopher, you know, and Elena, they kind of reconnect later. Rebecca is she reaches out to Anne at one point, which I kind of liked.
Right.
She's like crying to Anne on the phone. She's like, "Thank God you answered."
Right. Because she's trying to get hold of Christopher.
Thank God you answered.
Answered.
No?
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Where's the laugh? Marissa? Are you sleeping back there? That was really funny. So, so she reaches out to Anne, and Anne decides to meet with her.
Right.
So
they had coffee, which wherever they shot that was like a cool space.
Yeah. Well, she tries to basically tell her side of the story.
Right.
Because Christopher's not having it.
Right.
Christopher's drinking. And he's kind of turning to the dark side right now.
Christopher's had a really bad day. Like a whole lot of stuff has happened with it. He's definitely on the edge of like losing it, which is why we'll find out later. But he starts losing himself a little bit.
Well, what's interesting about this episode is that I see for the first time the potential for Christopher to go to the dark side and for John Ross to kind of go to the bright side.
Right.
Like they both kind of are like pushed in a way that like John Ross is getting blamed for stuff that it apparently hasn't done, and he gets stabbed in the back by his dad essentially later on, and then Christopher doesn't want to play games the way his dad has. Because Bobby's always been, you know, pretty much on the up and up, tried to like rise above it and try to beat JR. And
he's always like the goody good boy.
And it never
like
really works out for him. Yeah. And JR always gets the best of him, and he did it again, and that does not make him happy. And after he does this, JR just hops in a helicopter and he's gone.
So is he gone now for a few episodes, do you think? Do you think that's what that transition was? Or I know he's in a few phone scenes that look like coming up on the next episode, but I'm like...
Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't in this episode as much as, you know, I don't know. I don't know how relevant all these original characters are going to be moving forward. I think they'll be around for a while. I think it makes sense. I don't think these new kids can carry the show just yet. I think the best scenes are with the original characters.
Right.
So, Sue Ellen wasn't in this episode at all, though.
The three of them have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I also read that they're like, the three of them are like, out of all of them are like still best friends. They've been friends for 30 years. Like out of the whole cast, those three are like, you know.
Well, it shows in their chemistry. They all work really well together. There's something to that, I'm sure.
It definitely reads like when they're on camera together.
Right. So let's talk about Christopher for a second. Christopher and, you know, Rebecca's not having it anymore. Christopher then gets drunk at one point and reaches out to Elena.
Right.
And that doesn't really go as he had planned.
Right.
She lets him in, but then he just passes out on the couch. And the next morning, she kind of basically just kicks him out. She's like, here's some coffee, drink this, get out.
Right. She's a strong girl. She's definitely not like, you know, I'm not letting your drunk butt come in here and get crazy.
Just out of curiosity, why does she live on the ranch?
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out.
She's not married to anybody. She's not even dating John Ross anymore.
I don't know. I thought that was a little what was going on there too. But I think John Ross lived on the ranch, but then he was kicked off the ranch. So maybe they're like, we're not going to kick your girlfriend out too, maybe?
But it's not his girlfriend now.
Well, ish.
So I don't really know. But then she also was almost married to another son, so maybe that's why.
Maybe she's like, you know, by default.
Yeah, but so the next day she kicks him out, and she's like, "What? Did you expect me to just forgive you?"
Well, if I had a ranch, I'd let you, like, you know, move in one of the rooms.
Well, sure, but I mean, shit just got weird. No, but I mean, she's like, "What did you expect me to just forgive you because you came over here and you know now that things aren't going well with Rebecca?"
Right.
And she's kind of
and
torn.
also she was completely read by Christopher and like basically almost paid off like a whore, quote unquote.
And they brought that up a couple of times to make sure that you understood that point.
Yeah.
So she feels slighted. She feels betrayed. She feels like
hurt. And
how dare he? And now she's wondering about John Ross again, giving him a second look.
But she also must be feeling a little bit of. I mean, try to put yourself in her shoes too, because now she knows that the email wasn't real and that whole shenanigans with him too. So that must be like.
Yeah, in an alternate universe, they'd be married right now.
Right.
Had that email not been sent, then they'd be together, and it would be a whole different story. So I'm sure that runs through her mind. They could be having kids by now and starting a family, and you never know.
Right.
So I think she's very aware of that. That's not lost on her at all. But she's definitely conflicted because to look at this man like I could have been married to you, I could have kids with you right now, and then to have that same man try to pay you off,
right,
and treat you like a two-bit hooker, basically. That's gotta. And then now John Ross.
Wasn't she in the wedding too?
Yes, she was the best, the brides or the maid of honor.
I mean, it's just
last minute. That's a weird thing about soap operas. Nighttime, daytime doesn't matter. Like the maid of honors or like the best men, they always have like one, and it's like last minute.
Right.
Obviously, because they don't have the cast to support 12 maids of honor or whatever, or bridesmaids. But it's always so funny. Like, oh, can you be my maid of honor? Mine's stuck in Albuquerque.
Right.
Like, what? No. That's just silly.
Yeah. There's airplanes.
Yes, exactly. You're the Ewings. Send a helicopter.
Right. Come on.
Like your maid of honor can't get here. It's just I don't know, little holes in the storyline.
Just a little.
So Elena's obviously upset. She's struggling. She's wondering if she should give John Ross another chance or if she shouldn't. I don't know. What do you think about those two together? What do you think about John Ross?
Well, I would definitely say that John Ross's soft spot, like his quote unquote human side, is definitely Elena. Like that's.
You think?
Yeah, that's the girl I think that like grounds him a little bit.
Yeah, but why is he off banging Marta then?
Well, I don't know. Boys do ridiculous things, but when you ever see,
well, there you have it.
There you have it. But whenever you see like the two of them together in a scene, like he like sort of is like himself, because you have to almost look at his position. Both of his parents weren't kind of there for him when he grew up. He has such a huge name. It's almost like the Kennedys. When they show JR at the game and like he's on the screen. I mean, he's like he's a celebrity in Dallas as well, and a powerful man. To live up to those expectations, trying to fit in, and then trying to be on the edge of being a bad guy. Like I feel like Elena is like his rock.
Yeah, and I think we kind of saw that last episode where they kind of played with the host for a little bit.
Right.
They were playful. They were like children almost for a moment.
Right.
And I really appreciated that. It has got to be a lot to live up to, because I like that you mentioned that the scene at the Cowboys Stadium with Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys. I was like, that's It could have been a really cheesy scene, but it was kind of cool.
It was really cool.
I liked it because it pays homage to like the roots in Dallas, and the original Cowboy Stadium had been in so many different shots. It was in the opening shot of the original show. It's in the opening shot of the new show.
It's definitely a staple of the show. It's like it's synonymous with the show. Yeah. But I thought was interesting the LED screens or whatever. They didn't look like fake, like they were dubbed over.
It looked like they actually shot it
during the game. I'm like, that's actually really cool. I'm sure the crowd like went nuts.
I thought the exact same thing. I was like, I wonder if they actually shot this, because I know they shot this show a while back.
Right.
If they actually shot it during a game, because I mean, the crowd would have reacted that way.
Right.
And what I thought was interesting, and I read into things, but I thought it was interesting how JR is basically telling John Ross, like, look, I'm teaching you a lesson. He signed over temporary, what was it called? What's the actual legal term?
I put it in quotes somewhere. Power of attorney.
Power of attorney to John Ross to take over Ewing Oil while he's out of town. Yeah.
While he's flying around on the helicopter.
Yeah, and he told him that, and then when they did the Jumbotron, the shot on J.R. Ewing, he took his hat off and put it on John Ross. And I kind of read into that. I'm kind of like, it's a little bit of passing the guard.
Torch.
Yeah, a little bit, because last week we found out when JR decided to take John Ross's name off the deed completely and take 100% ownership of Southfork.
Right.
We read that as completely just conniving and manipulative, and like he was just trying to have it all to himself, which may still be the case.
Right.
But I think he's also aware that he's old.
Right.
He's not going to be around forever. So he's trying to have he wants his son to prove to him that he can run Ewing Oil and that he can make it successful.
To me, JR is almost, to me, like Mommy Dearest, where he might not leave his kids anything at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's just very much, about JR.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I don't know. And John Ross, it'll be interesting to see which way his character goes, because I don't know that he's really so terrible.
Right.
I don't know if it's possible for another character to be quite like JR.
Right.
JR, the actor, the character, all of it kind of, it was a unique marriage of so many. It was like the perfect storm for that character back in the late 70s and into the 80s and into the 90s and now into 2012.
Right.
I don't think you can really replicate that character. So it's going to be interesting to see how the storylines unfold, to see what kind of character they create in John Ross, because you can never be JR again.
No.
And they can't go down. I think if you start to go down that path.
I don't think they're trying to.
No?
Do you know what I mean? Because I think that it's exactly what you said. You can't recreate something like that. It's just, lightning doesn't strike twice.
Yeah.
The same spot.
That's exactly it. Because
I
think you had told me this, the original series, it was more, especially that season 1, and I've seen it now, was about Bobby. It's all about Bobby. And he's still relevant, but it definitely became the JR show.
Right. What's going on back there?
Oh, just Marissa probably trying to tell me to say something about Amazon.com. So hey guys, if you guys have purchases to make on Amazon.com, we'd really appreciate it if you do it through our website, AFTERBUZZTV.com. There is a banner on the top right corner, an Amazon banner. If you guys make your purchases through there, it takes one extra click. It doesn't cost you guys a penny, and it keeps us doing what we do, and we love what we do, and we love you guys too. So if you guys could do that, we would really appreciate it.
Just click it.
Yeah, and you guys you could buy past seasons of Dallas. You could buy, how many seasons were there? 14?
14.
14. You could buy 14 seasons of Dallas on Amazon.com and know everything there is to know about the show. I'm on season 3, so I've got a ways to go. But I will be buying the rest of my shows on Amazon. But we do have a phone call, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, who do we have on the line?
This is Steamer.
This is who? I'm sorry?
Steamer.
Steamer?
Yeah.
How you doing, Steamer? What's up? What can I do for you? You got a question for us?
Hello.
Steamer, where are you, Steamer?
Did we lose Steamer?
Marissa, did we lose Steamer? Is it Stanley?
Yes, I believe we lost.
Stanley Steamer, the carpet cleaner? Steamer, call us back. We're interested now. You got us intrigued.
Exactly. Is that his real name?
I don't know. But let's go into this JR. Speaking of JR, let's talk about his relationship with Bobby, because that's a dynamic.
Right.
And again, in the same way that JR is an incredible character as a villain, Bobby really plays his role perfectly.
Right.
He plays the good son that tries to, because the thing is, I think over the years, JR has gotten a lot of attention. Everybody remembers the Who Shot JR episode and things like that.
Right.
But JR could not exist without Bobby.
Right.
Without having that antithesis, that arch enemy, that brother rivalry.
Right. It's almost like a superhero. There's like the bad guy and the good guy.
Exactly. And there's no way that JR could exist without him.
Right.
And we see in this episode that he's still trying to take the high road, but he's also saying, like, look, JR, I'm not going to back down. I'm getting Southfork back. And he goes immediately, gets a hold of their attorney. They look into this LaBelle character, and
he's gone.
Everything's gone. His office
Whole
has
office
been
is
cleared
gone.
out. Yeah, he's taken the money and he's run.
Right.
He did get money, right?
No, remember he was trying to blackmail
For more though,
$5
but I'm sure he
million.
still got paid off something.
Or I think JR basically said, "You better
Yeah.
hit it, otherwise I'm going to turn
Your
your
son's
son
going
over."
to go 3 strikes and
So
you're
basically,
out.
we learned that he's gone and then Marta's gone too.
Yeah.
and
Well, Marta never really existed, is what we find out.
Correct.
That's not even her name.
which I was living for. She was my favorite part of this episode.
Yeah.
Again, she's completely out of control.
She is crazy. So Bobby's saying though, look, we're not going to play by those rules. We're going to do it our own way. And Christopher's like, look, you may feel that way. I don't.
Right.
I don't have to play by the rules. I'm going to play by the same rules as JR and John Ross because that's the only way we're going to beat these guys.
Right.
So he goes and bribes the doorman, the concierge, whoever it is, at John Ross's condo or his
Right.
suite or wherever he's living.
Condo.
He bribes them to get into his place.
Correct.
And just pays them and keeps paying him and keeps
Keeps
paying him
paying
until he
him.
just gives him the key. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, we're cousins. We're really close. I have to get these oil files.
Yeah. Hello.
I mean, really?
Come on now.
If you're paying the kind of money you're paying to live somewhere like that and you're Ewing, you're not giving keys away.
No.
That's silly to me. Even if it is your cousin.
Right. I can't imagine the locks would be that hard to pick. I mean, just show them picking the lock.
I know. Yeah, right? But, like, how do you even, like, there has to be security there.
Right.
I don't know.
Who
So
knows?
he gets in there and he goes through his stuff and he finds the DVD.
Because Marta had just left. They just
Yeah.
missed each other in
Yes.
the elevator.
She just walked out as she was coming in, yes. And he found the DVD of Marta and John Ross.
Yeah. Their sexcapades tape.
Yes. Why did you record that again?
Remember, she drugged him and she was pushing the button. She just wanted to have some sort of
hold over him?
She was kind of crazy because remember,
Because she drugged everybody and had
just-
sex with everybody,
well,
didn't she?
just like a minute before when they showed her, she was like drinking wine and crying, watching the sex tape. It was so weird.
Yeah.
Like she was just like torturing herself, and like she really wasn't. She didn't really do anything with.
In
the
all
tape.
fairness, though, I've drank wine, cried, and watched previous sex tapes before in my life.
That's normal.
I'm
That's
just saying.
right.
That's pretty standard.
That's how I spent my 4th of July.
right? No, but she's a nutcase. But he does get this DVD.
Because she obviously wasn't going to do anything with the tape because she gave it to him.
Well, she made the tape. Why do you keep calling it a tape?
Well, I don't know. That's what
It
they
hasn't
call
been
it.
a tape in 20 years.
That's just what they call it, a tape.
So, but you just clarified that she did make it so that she'd have something to watch while she drank and popped pills. So he has this DVD now, and he's now got ammunition, but not really, because he kind of does. And then in that scene where he actually goes to Elena's house, he's got it in his back pocket.
Right.
And the next day after he sobers up, she says she's basically like letting him have it and letting him know, like, look, I'm not just going to forgive you.
Right.
And they show him kind of pull the DVD out of his back pocket. And he's kind of holding it there, kind of like that zip drive scene where
I said zip drive.
yeah,
That's what I was
always
gonna
holding
say
the
too.
zip drive like they're threatening.
What do you notice when she put it away is when she said, Chris, you've caused me too much pain over
Yeah.
the years. I can't anymore. And then in his
And then
mind, he was
yep.
just like, I'm not going to do this
Can't
to her
do
right
this
now.
to her. That shows that he truly loves her, though.
Yeah,
That he's not willing to like go there.
right.
Because we've all dated those people before where you just want to like,
You just have your friends in it.
yeah.
And
I'm
it's
like,
not you.
I want to call your new boyfriend or your new girlfriend. I want to have a talk with them. Let them know how you really are.
Yeah.
You want to, but like,
Of course, everyone thinks that.
yeah. But crazy people do it.
Right.
I would never.
No,
Partially because
I would probably.
you would though.
I'm a little
Partially
crazy.
because I think in all fairness, I think I care about everybody I've ever been with for the most part. And I respect myself too much to do it.
All of them?
Not all of them.
Should we name them by name?
No, we shouldn't. We don't have time for all that. But I mean, I think that it shows how he really feels about her.
Right.
And
And
he's respectful.
he definitely loves her. And
Yeah.
like I said, he's having a horrible week. So
Yeah.
he has like that going on, the John Ross thing. Like, I mean, just he's also friends with Tommy too. So he lost a friend. It was almost like there's
Wait, so yeah, how does their friendship work?
they haven't really explained it. All we know is like the first episode, they like gave each other a high five and they hugged each other like they were like long lost bros, like they've seen each other a while
Yeah.
ago. Like there was obviously not just a handshake. They were like friends.
That is so weird.
Right.
I wonder who he really is.
There's definitely going to be some backstory to this, like to find out who they're working for. Because
Yeah.
they're obviously not working, for themselves.
There's going to be a big reveal at some point.
There needs to be.
Oh Lord, what do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think. I want to know who do you guys think this Tommy character really is? Do you really think that he's actually Rebecca's brother, or do we think he's got some shenanigans? He's holding something over Rebecca's head. So we want you guys to go onto iTunes and tell us. Tell us what you think about our show. Tell us what you think about Tommy. We want to know what you guys think, because it's interesting because people go on iTunes and I read some of these comments and I really start to figure things out from the show, because people like give us like these ideas like that we would never consider,
Right.
Because we haven't seen
Well,
every.
because the people that are listening and
diehards.
watching are like true fans.
Yes,
so,
and
like,
you
they
guys, if
know
you
a
do
lot
go
more
on
than we do.
iTunes and rate and comment, we will comment back. We always do. I love reading the comments. I love commenting back. And also, if you have iPhones, there's a new app for your iPhone. It's fantastic. It's called Podcasts with an S. It's released by Apple just last week, and you can download all of your favorite podcasts straight to your phone automatically. So if you subscribe to my shows, Dallas, Love in the Wild, So You Think You Can Dance. If you guys want to, yeah, all right. If you guys want to hear me all the time, you can get me directly onto your phone. You can take me through everywhere you go. If you go to Running Canyon and go for a hike, or if you're just, I don't know, on the treadmill at the gym, you can listen to my beautiful voice.
That just sounds amazing.
Right, I know,
That just
right?
sounds amazing.
I listen to myself on the treadmill.
Do you see we turned around one of the people who was kind of angry with us on iTunes?
We did?
Yeah, and they were like, oh, you guys aren't religious and you guys are nice people now.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's how you get enemies to be frenemies.
Tell me.
Just a little hug, a little love.
Right.
That's all it takes.
Right.
I love you all.
We love everyone.
I don't love everyone.
Well,
Let's not get crazy.
maybe not.
All right. So, Anne's becoming a bigger character. Her character starting
gonna
to
be
be
a
little
reveal.
bit. Yeah.
There has to be with Anne.
Yeah.
Well,
I
because
like it.
Anne is like, she's proven that she's quote unquote like, you know, badass on the show with her guns. And like, so she definitely has some sort of past, but I think you were about to say that we were introduced to her ex-husband.
Yeah.
And he definitely is creepy.
Yeah.
Like
He's like, come give me a hug.
Come give me a hug. And she like said no. And then finally she like backed down because she needed a favor from him.
Back up 2 seconds, though. She looked really hot in that scene.
She looked great.
Like, she was fierce.
He even called her. He's
Those
like, I'm
boots and
glad
those
you're not
heels.
afraid to wear heels anymore. Like,
Yeah.
he's like a dirty old man kind of.
Yeah. But actually, I thought I had mixed emotions about him because I was like, oh, he's kind of creepy. But at the same time, I'm like, he kind of loves her. I think he
Right.
still cares about her a little bit. And it could be one of those things where, remember back in the original, how Digger Barnes lost Miss Ellie to Jock. And he loved her for all those years, but he lost out to a Ewing. It could be one of those sorts of things where
Right.
we might see that, again, he lost
Well, the
somebody.
preview for next week sort of, I think it looked like Bobby punched him in the next
So there's-
episode.
yeah.
So there's something that's going to happen.
Well, it's interesting that she would go to him because she went to him to help Bobby.
Right.
She went to her ex to help Bobby stop because he owns a company that transports oil.
petroleum and oil.
Yeah, exactly.
basically.
So he has the contract with JR, and without this contract, there's nobody else in Texas who can transport this much oil.
Which the deeds show up and then the trucks move in.
Yeah,
Like,
literally
and
moments later.
A few moments later. I loved his office too. They had like strategically placed like
And
trucks.
we talked about this, and we don't have a drinking game today because the girls aren't here and because we're both hungover and drinking ginger ale.
Yeah.
But within the first couple minutes of the episode, they said "daddy" like 6 times. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Because between Bobby and JR, when they were having their little bit of a showdown after Bobby found out what was going on, Bobby says to me, he said to me, he says, I'm gonna basically defend mommy's honor.
No, that what he said is like, I promise we're gonna leave Mama a legacy to Mama or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and JR goes, well, I'm trying to leave legacy to daddy. And he's
Right.
like, okay, the line is drawn. And it's the same storyline which is going on for the last 40 years, but it still works.
Still happening.
Yeah. So Bobby's, oh God, all these people. It's just a lot.
It's
but
a lot.
It's interesting to me to see how Bobby has had such strong women in his life.
Right.
Because he ended up, I think Bobby's always married women that are very much like Miss Ellie.
Right.
You know, and
She was a great role model.
yes,
apparently.
because Victoria Principal, what was her name?
Pam.
Pam, obviously.
How do you forget Pam?
I don't know. You did for a second.
No, because
Pam,
I was thinking about something else.
she's a very strong, beautiful, very stoic woman, and Anne is as well. But then JR married Sue Ellen, who's a little bit batshit crazy and kind of conniving and kind of manipulative and,
Right.
and more so like Jock.
But who has turned out to be, you know.
Fantastic now. I mean, she's as old as Methuselah. So, I mean, she's grown up.
I love her.
Right. So Anne, I really love Anne this episode though. Just to think that she would go out of her way and put herself in such a situation for the man that she loves to, to protect something so dear to him, so dear to his, his mother.
Right.
I think that was cool.
Which I thought one thing about the episode, this is the part about the episode that just bothered me, whatever, I'm going to say it, is the whole battle over Southfork. If the land meant so much to you, like, you protect the land, or you, like, when you sell it, like, if they never want someone to, how do they know that the new people who are going to buy it weren't going to develop the land?
It was a conservatorship. That was the agreement.
It was for
It
sure.
was going to be. It was become a natural preserve. It was going to be protected.
Oh, I missed that
forever.
part.
That was the whole point of the conservatorship.
Otherwise,
yeah.
now that makes more sense, because I was just
Yeah.
like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
That's why Bobby wanted to get it over to them because he knew that it would they would never drill for oil there. They would never change anything. They would protect it as basically as land reserve.
But when they build something, don't they just like put this and it's all? Oh, you just have to look at one little thing and then you're fine.
I know, but okay. Didn't you ever watch the episode of Saved by the Bell back in like the 80s or the 90s where they drilled for oil on Bayside and the ducks got oil on them or something like that?
Yeah,
the duck died or something like that.
They're trying to wash them off.
And they run inside like, look what happened. Like Lisa Turtle's all upset. That's what happens when you drill for oil, apparently.
I guess so.
Or like you go down to like Huntington Beach, as beautiful as it is, the oil derricks out in the water, they're just ugly.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that stuff. And it was, I mean, this ranch was never about oil. It came from the Southworths. That was their name. Miss Ellie was a Southworth. And her family, they were cattle ranchers. That's what this land is for, not to drill oil. And if there are billions of gallons of oil underneath this land, which is so convenient, that's a lot of drilling for a lot of years.
Right.
And it could ruin it.
But we need gas prices to go down. Like, aren't they thinking
they have
of the
gone
economy?
down? And they have gone down. You see gas prices like $1 less now than they were at this time, 4 years ago? Bush, Obama, love it. We love you. We love you, W. We miss you. Just kidding.
We can't talk politics.
Right. So Anne. So she goes to her ex, and like you said, next week I think he's going to become more of an integral part of the show because right now she's just the woman who's standing by her man.
Right.
There's always somebody else. With Pam originally, back years ago, 5, 6, 7 episodes into season 2, we found out she had a man she'd been married to years prior to.
Right.
So everybody has a backstory.
She had that, and also she had, the Cliff Barnes going for her. But like Anne really doesn't have any sort of like connection to anything
no tie
else.
into anything else.
Right.
So there has to be something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Some shadiness.
And we'll find out where Elena came from. Where is Elena's mom the maid?
Yes.
Which is so weird.
One of my other favorite scenes was with the maid. Because she just says 2 lines and hits it. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
When John Ross comes in and says, I need to see you alone. And she looks at him like, are you sure? Actually, like basically saying, I got your back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was amazing.
She's tough.
Yeah, she's
not
amazing.
afraid of little John Ross. Oh, Lord. So there's a lot. What are the key things you think we need to talk about this episode? Because
I think one other important thing with Elena was that Elena decided not to develop the land with John Ross. She had decided that she's going to go do her thing at the Henderson, Josh Henderson, which is funny.
Henderson Ranch, yeah.
Right. So she's going to do her own thing, which I think that there's going to be some sort of competing between the two. You know, I mean, he admires. That also made me what I said earlier that I keep calling him Josh, but John Ross. Elena grounds him because he was like, hey, I like a woman that, isn't afraid to go do her thing. And, she definitely just doesn't want anything to do with getting involved with the Ewing brothers fight.
Yeah, I guess I always try to put myself in these characters' shoes and try to relate to them on some level. And I guess that for me is how I relate to John Ross. It looks like, I don't think I'm very much like him, his character at all.
Right.
But I like how I'm really attracted to men who are willing to do their own thing and be successful and go about it their own way.
Right.
It makes me I gravitate towards that. And I don't get threatened by it. I'm not challenged by it. And I think he's kind of that way. He likes that she's kind of standing up and doing her own thing. Whereas Rebecca, she seems like more of like the traditional just wife.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas Elena, she's doing it on her own.
Right.
Sisters.
It'll be interesting to see too what's happening with Rebecca too, because there was a scene where she's looking through the files and kind of going through stuff, and it's hard to tell. I think that she's good, but sometimes I think that she.
Oh, when Tommy came in and she's surrounded by the box of files.
Right. So
I think she's hiding something from Tommy.
Right, something's going on there, and then it also, maybe they revealed it last episode. I'm not sure or not, but for sure Tommy has access to Christopher's laptop.
Yeah.
So.
Which is dicey.
Right, and Rebecca didn't 100% admit that when she was talking to Anne.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how Christopher responds to all of this because he's now already reached out. Like we talked about this before. The first thing you do when somebody breaks your heart is you text an ex,
right?
Or you go to somebody. This is naturally what people do. And Christopher, of course, got drunk and went straight to Elena's. But she didn't respond the way he'd hoped she responded. And she actually, at the end of this episode, she's getting banged by John Ross on a desk.
Yeah.
So.
Which I love office sex. It's great.
It is, but at the same time, though, I think that's necessarily not a true reaction from her either, because she's now messed up in the head, I'm sure.
Right.
Because now Christopher came back, and I'm sure she wanted to be with Christopher. Had he not shown up wasted, maybe she would have been with him.
Right.
I'm that way. I'm like, you show up, you try to work things out, and you're going to try to talk to me drunk? No.
Right.
That's not the time to do it. There's a better way to do it. Man up.
She just kind of turned off by Christopher in general now. Just
he's kind of a mess right now.
Right.
He's kind of running
all
around
over the place.
Yeah. So she goes back to John Ross. So but now I think though, once all the dust settles, it's going to be really interesting to see how Rebecca gets her way back into this, because Rebecca's going to be working towards getting back with Christopher. Christopher's confused, might still want Elena. Elena still wants Christopher, but now
they've only been married for a couple days.
I know, right? A couple weeks ago they got married, and now there's all these different like dynamics between them. So basically, we're back where we started on episode 1.
Right.
It's all just a big cluster.
All just a big mess.
Again.
And I want to see the sex tape.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Which is so. That's just a lot of people watched that sex tape this episode. They kept, but they were always like in the other room, just like watching something with like a remote control. I'm like, why does everybody keep watching this tape?
I don't know.
And Marta, let's just give Marta a couple of minutes. Let's talk about her for a second.
We need to meet her. She's
nuts.
She's out of control, and I live for her.
She's one of those characters that I think like they'll kill her off.
Right.
Like she's one of those like expendable kind of characters, but she can be crazy and go out in like a big ball of fire though.
Even JR was like,
watch
out for her because she's a loose cannon. He even knows that she's a little crazy.
Because JR's messed around with some pretty crazy women over the years.
He's seen his share of crazy women.
That is one funny thing that I think that John Ross definitely did pick up from his dad. He's a playboy.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate how many women they're always with. All the time.
All the time.
JR was like that too. And it just drives me crazy to watch the original series and see Sue Ellen just deal with it. I'm like, really? He's a jerk. He's not that good looking.
Right. I mean, a lot of people deal with that all the time.
Money makes people happy.
Right. I mean, money definitely makes
people
you happy.
stay in bad relationships every day for money and security.
I wouldn't be going anywhere.
Oh, I need some money in my life. Lord. Well, as I ponder how to get some money in my life, we're going to go to commercial, but you guys want to stick around because when we get back, we have a little sneak peek behind the scenes of Dallas with our very own Catherine Tulich.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AFTERBUZZ TV. And why? Because AFTERBUZZ TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AFTERBUZZ TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AFTERBUZZ TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
Am I on, Marissa, or are we going straight to the video? I don't know how we're doing this. Are we doing the video now? Marissa?
Well, we're on the set of Dallas. What did it feel like stepping on this set?
God, for the first time, it was pretty exciting. Really shooting on Southfork was that big moment for me. Yeah. You know, a beautiful day on Southfork, there's no better place in the world to shoot.
Yeah, it definitely has just a history, you know, there's a sense of weight and energy, like whether it's there or just being around the 3 original cast, you know, just being in this environment in general is pretty, it's pretty exciting.
So you're the younger generation. Are you meaner? Can you possibly be meaner than JR?
We're sort of breathing the new lifeblood into the show, you know. We're kind of like, you know, taking that rivalry, you know, to the next generation. I mean, we're fighting over Southfork just like Bobby and JR did. We're employing different tactics, you know, and it's not so black and white between us, you know. That JR was the bad guy and Bobby was the good guy. You know, there's a lot more gray area with our characters,
yeah.
Which John Ross works for.
Yeah, there's, I mean, there's definitely the same sense of the intense kind of back and forth, blood, love, problem, anguish over, you know, who's going to be kind of heading the JR or the Ewing front, I guess. And so for us, it gets a little, it does get intense, and I think we both kind of really passionate about what we want, what we believe in, so that definitely puts us in situations that,
and we're also fighting over a woman too, so I mean, yeah. that brings another, you know,
if money and power weren't enough, there's also a female
element into the situation, definitely.
Yeah. It's such a joy, so exciting to be back, playing the same characters I did 20 years ago, and coming back to Southfork. It's like, what? It's surreal. It's fabulous, it's exciting, it's a blessing.
What's it like coming back with Larry and Patrick? I know you've been friends for a long time.
33 years, to be exact. And, you know, we have children, now we all are grandparents, and we're dearest of friends. We love each other, we trust each other, we love to work together. And when I look at those baby blue eyes of Larry's when we're having a J.R. Swellen moment, it's amazing. Sparks fly. We had a scene the other day, and I looked into his eyes, and I thought, wow, this is magic.
I love that.
I love that too.
That is so cool, and that's the thing. It's such unique. Like that's one of the things I love about the show so much, is that it really, in the sense that a soap opera can do it, this is a primetime, well written, well acted show that has such history that it just really, I think it's incredible.
Right.
Like she said, like we have such chemistry. It's just sparks fly. Like she hasn't been on screen with him since the 90s.
It's so funny. I mean, she's like. You don't really hear someone say that about, they always say, oh, they're great to work with, they're a great kisser, but she talks about like the sparkle in their eye. I mean,
yeah, there's such a level of respect and such a level of trust with them. They've all worked together for so many years. And I think they're in a unique situation where they got to step away from it for all that time.
Right.
And now, I'm sure there was a lot of years where you're on a show like that for that many, 14 seasons. There's probably a lot of times in their life they're like, oh my God, I'm not JR, I'm not Bobby, I'm not Sue Ellen, get over it. But then later in your career, in the twilight of your career, to have the opportunity to come back and revisit like this is it's rare. It doesn't happen.
She was amazing on Models Inc. though. I will give that.
You talk about Models Inc. all the time.
Love that show.
Yes.
The opening is so tea.
She is pretty fantastic. And for all of you guys out there, we're working on, we think we're going to have her in the studio, we believe, on July 25th, Linda Gray.
Yep.
Kind of exciting stuff for
can't
us.
wait.
So we'll confirm that hopefully next week. Fingers crossed. We're going to make it here. The great people here at AfterBuzz working hard for you guys all the time. But so let's wrap up this episode.
Okay.
The big ending, the big key of this episode is what?
Well, I guess in order for Bobby to get Southfork back, they need to prove that JR willingly knew about the fraud that was going on with Southfork. Otherwise, it's a straightforward deal.
Because apparently the attorney said, you know what, the deal with the second party wasn't legit.
Right.
The conservatorship, because that never actually existed. It wasn't going through Del Sol to begin with. However, they legitimately did sell it to JR.
Right.
So
it was an actual sale.
Yeah, so that's legit. So now
there's nothing you can do unless JR willingly, unless he knew that ahead of time, which even Bobby knows. Like JR has all of his I's and T's, ready to go. Like he is.
Are you saying he crossed his T's and dotted his I's?
Crossed and T's.
He has all of his I's.
Has all of his I's.
Okay.
It's like your mom when she says all those sayings.
Yes. Hell in a handbasket.
Hell in a handbasket. But basically, he thinks he's not going to find anything. And that's where the sex tape comes in handy, because Christopher realizes that during the tape, in the shenanigans, he calls Marta her real name Veronica. So he knew her real name.
So while he may not be able to use the sex tape, because he doesn't want to use the sex tape because it could hurt Elena, the information he got from the sex tape, he might never need to show it to anyone.
Right.
He just has that information because when they went looking for Marta and LaBelle, they were both gone.
Right.
So now this is
so he basically told him, he said he wasn't even trying to get John Ross in trouble. He basically said, this is going to keep you out of jail, but the only way I'm going to keep this out of jail and you be okay is if you give me something damaging about JR.
Yeah.
And that he
Which
knew
he
about
may be
the
willing
sale.
to do right now, because JR plays head games with everybody, including his son, and now his son is thinking, his dad just wrote him out of this deed.
Right.
He's no longer has 50%, he has 0.
Right.
So you never know. Maybe he might turn on his dad. And maybe it might take like somebody like his own son ganging up with his nephew and his brother and everybody else to take down JR.
Right.
He's a tough one.
We also need to see like a good explosion soon, because there's a lot of those on Dallas. They would blow up the oil wells, trucks getting blown up. We need to see something blow up soon.
Have we not?
I don't think so. Nothing's blown up.
Something will soon.
We need something to blow up.
That's funny. That is too funny. Well, we've got what, 5 episodes left for this initial season.
Crazy how fast.
Like I said, it was picked up for season 2. I don't know when that's going to start airing though. Probably not till the winter, I would assume.
Probably not.
But we've got the rest of the summer, the rest of July at least, to watch these episodes. I'm excited. We're halfway through it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The buzz about it is so great. There's so many people that live and love the show.
Because it's well written and it's well acted, and it's hard.
The locations are amazing, literally amazing too. Like the office, like I told you. His office was like the traffic going by was beautiful.
Yeah. I'm so glad TNT did it and not a major network, because sometimes the major networks, they're always worried about advertising and the dollar and everything else, and it's hard to let a show really get its legs. Although I feel like from episode 1, the show was great. Like it really has kind of picked up steam, I think, and it's so hard to do, But it's interesting. I'm interested to see now how many other shows try to reboot now and try to come back, because the problem with like this in this day and age, it's so hard to get a show off the ground unless you have a phenomenal pilot like Lost or like one of those shows we've talked about before. Because 2-3 episodes in, if your numbers aren't going up, you're done, dead in the water. And they don't give shows time to really develop anymore and to really create a fan base. It's easier just to hack it and throw up some reality, crap.
Well, the good news is their ratings are so good that they're pretty secure.
Yeah, but that makes me think though that this formula could work in other shows too. Start bringing back all these other shows left
Dynasty.
and right. Yeah, because once you tie in those original characters and then introduce the new ones, like 90210 did it a few years ago, and that worked well.
Right.
Melrose Place didn't work out so
really
well.
Work.
No.
I kind of think the 90210 didn't really work that well either. It was below my expectations.
I love 90210 though.
You do now?
Yeah, I haven't watched actually for like the last season, but it's actually a really good show. And they slowly started to phase out the original characters though, like Kelly and whatever Shannon Doherty's character. They all kind of got phased out. But I wonder. I hope Dallas sticks with some of these original characters.
Right.
I hope at least the main 3 that are here now. I hope they stick around. I hope Charlene Tilton comes back because I loved Lucy.
Right.
She's crazy.
They're kind of the heart of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
and they're still relevant.
Right.
I think.
And they're acting the pants off everyone else.
Yeah,
I mean, like JR is like so amazing.
JR has always been amazing, but I feel like it's so funny to watch Patrick Duffy and Linda Gray though. I feel like they're both better actors now than they ever were on the original show.
For sure.
Which is kind of cool.
I mean, they've been acting for literally forever.
The style of acting back then was a lot different.
Right.
It was so cheesy and campy and over the top and ridiculous.
Right.
That I feel like now like actors are actors.
Right.
I enjoy that. I'm excited about it. I hear you have some news and gossip for us though.
AfterBuzz TV News.
We do. All right. Well, Josh Henderson's next movie is called Rush Lights.
Okay.
Apparently he's playing Billy, which this is the part where I thought is funny. He is playing a delinquent teenager. Really?
He's like 30.
I know. Okay. But apparently the premise is it's 2 delinquent teenage lovers from the suburbs of Los Angeles travel to a small southern town to falsely claim a dead friend's inheritance.
Okay. Well, they go to a southern town because they're already shooting Dallas down there, so we had to film it.
Right. So let's shoot in LA for a couple days, then head down there.
That's exciting.
And then I saw something in Star Magazine. We know how true
completely
Star
legit.
Magazine is.
Completely legit. Yeah.
It's titled "Drama at Dallas." Everyone hates Jesse Metcalfe.
Really?
No one can stand him. Apparently, Josh Henderson, particularly, says that he's incredibly competitive with Josh, who has emerged as the show's breakout star, and that's infuriating Jesse.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, though. Do you really think that Josh Henderson's the breakout star?
I think so.
I don't think there has been one.
I think Josh is sort of like, I guarantee you with like the social media and like the girls and like people who are like tweeting, I definitely think that he is like getting the most attention.
You know who I think the breakout star is? JR. I mean,
hello.
So silly. And I really like Anne's character. I think she kind of stands out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like the younger audience is for sure. I mean, who's your favorite guy on the show?
Or who's my favorite guy
out of
on the
show?
Two?
Out of the two.
Who would I sleep with? Is that what you're asking
me?
Who's Josh Henderson.
Well, there you go.
Because he's a bad boy. That's why people love a bad boy.
Oh, of course. Of course.
So they don't have any diversity on the show yet.
Exactly. Well, I think the delivery guy was black.
Exactly. See? The UPS guy's black. Thank you, Dallas. Pull it together.
So that's today in the news.
Is that all your news and gossip?
That's all my news and gossip.
Oh, Lord. Let's go to predictions.
All right.
You're predicting first.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Love it.
Love it. My prediction, I'm going to say what I said earlier. I think there's going to be some shenanigans with Anne. I mean, I think, the trailer for next week kind of hinted at that, but I think that Anne's character just has to get more rich because, like you said, she's kind of like not much to her story. And I think this ex-husband is going to end up being some sleazeball, basically.
Yeah, I think that Christopher's going to sleep with Elena, obviously, because they're going to have to really, really play up that rivalry, and it's going to break Rebecca's heart because she's trying to get back in, and I think she's legit. I think she's an honest girl, and it's going to break her heart. And I think that Cliff Barnes is coming back to town, and we're going to figure out the connection between Cliff and Rebecca because I think they're related. Yeah. Somehow there's something with that. So the name Rebecca.
Right. The Rebecca, there's something weird with that. There's a Cliff Barnes connection to that.
So he's definitely coming back.
I also think that Elena is going to see the sex tape.
Yeah. Oh, she will. Somehow.
Yeah.
Josh will play it for her and pretend like it was Christopher and break Christopher's heart, make him look like a jerk.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, there's so much going on.
She's going to go put a wrong DVD
Yes,
in.
we have 5 episodes left, you guys. We have some great guests coming in soon, so stay tuned. Come back next week, same time, same place. We want to thank you guys for being here with us this evening. Hope you all enjoyed your 4th. I'm AJ Gibson. You can find me at _AJ Gibson on Twitter.
And I am Ryan Allen Carillo, 2 R's and 2 L's.
See you guys next week. Take care.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz y'all later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.